You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
What are you doing?
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only speak about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you can call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. And good morning, National Marzipan Day. Now look at the picture of marzipan, and obviously I did not know what maybe it's not obvious. I didn't know what marzipan was, although I'm sure that when I look at it and see that it is a glaze or an icing for cookies, I am sure I've eaten it without knowing it, but it's just an unofficial national holiday. I always like these unofficial national holidays, something that just gets our day going with a little bit of celebration. And being that the other thing that we celebrate today is National Curried Chicken Day, and I'm not big on the spiciness, I figured we'd go with National Marzipan Day on this day of volatility. Holy cow, watching what's going on in the markets today. Amazing volatility in the markets. We were up over 100 points at one point in time. Market then was down a little bit. Now we're up a little bit. Oil, oil was down significantly. It got into the high 20s. Then it recovered after we saw what was going on in Istanbul with another terrorist attack there. Oil recovered. Now it's back to down $1.12, $30.28 a barrel for oil. Have you filled up your car lately? Now, we're talking about oil at the lows of many, many years. I should probably look it up and see how long it's been since we've been this low in oil, the oil pricing. But why aren't the gas prices lower is my question. I'm looking national average at $1.95.6. Missouri, they lead the country at $1.64.4. $1.20 a gallon cheaper than we are here in the state of confusion. Amazing that we're still paying so much more than the rest of the country, and nobody's reporting that. That's the thing that just drives me nuts. If we would get some of the media reporting the fact that we're paying $2.84.7 a gallon is the average in California, and we're paying close to $1 more than the national average. Shouldn't we be the leader of the country? Yet, because of our regulations, because of our gas standards, because we want to be unique and the only state in the union with our blend of gas, at the time of the year when gas prices are generally the lowest, we're $1.20 above the lowest in the country. Unbelievable. Obviously, you can tell it gets my blood boiling. Speaking of blood boiling, it's funny because I'm looking, and one of the biggest stories around the country right now, obviously, is what's going on with the Powerball. Going to be $1.5 billion by the time they do the drawing tonight. $1.5 billion. Yet there was a teacher that came up with this. It's kind of funny. That came up with a little math problem saying, you know something, instead of one person winning it, why don't we just divide it evenly across the country? And the teacher's math, she must have gone to a California school, came out with that would be $4.3 million per person. Well, when somebody that knows how to do math, this wasn't Common Core, I guess, does the math, it really comes out to be $4.33 per person. Not quite the same issue there. Does it make any sense, though, to play the Powerball? That was one of the questions I had. And it's like entertainment. You know that the odds of winning, pretty slim. I think it's 1 in 279 million. It's about the fun. It's about, for $2, where can you go for $2 and get that kind of enjoyment, conversation, discussion, fantasy maybe? Well, I guess there's a lot of places you can go for fantasy for $2, but we'll not go that way. Just a thought. Think about those things. But for $2, it could, the fun, the entertainment value is there. But you better be careful of how you respond to the entertainment value. If you are a student in Wisconsin, high school student that is, you better be careful of what you say, because if you say that I'm a winner, you might get suspended. Yeah, you're right. I can't believe it myself. This is from the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association. They've banned high school students from chanting certain words and phrases at basketball games. I guess you're supposed to just sit there on your hands, or maybe why even go? But think about this. Here's some of the words you cannot say, or phrases you cannot say in a basketball game in Wisconsin. Airball. Now, I must admit that in my days in high school and in college, I was known to heckle a little bit. Wasn't that part of the fun of it for those of us that aren't good enough to play the sport? Isn't that what you're supposed to do as the home crowd, is heckle the other team? Just saying. We can't hear you. That's banned as well. I don't know what the problem is there. We can't hear you. When somebody commits a foul, yelling at them, you can't do that. No longer allowed in Wisconsin. There's a net there. Or if the other team is losing, when you hear the other team screaming at your team, but your team is winning, don't yell scoreboard. It might offend somebody. Or during a tournament, you can't yell at them that the season's over. Really? Don't they have anything better to do? Maybe they should go teach this other teacher we talked about earlier how to do a little bit of math. 1.4 billion divided by 314 million. Cross out the zeros, do the math. Yeah, it's something pretty simple. Oh, amazing. Did you watch? Speaking of amazing, did you watch that football game last night? It was probably one of the better college football games I've seen. But I did notice there was a winner, a big, big winner in that game, and nobody really talks about it. But being that we are somewhat a business program, the real winner of last night's game between Alabama and Clemson, well, yeah, Bama had the high score, but I bet the most money goes to Nike, being that Nike was the sponsor of both teams. Can you believe that one? Nike. Nice. A couple of years ago it was a Nike versus Under Armour game. But this was Nike versus Nike, and I bet they got their money's worth out of that ball game. Probably a good, and it was a good game too. You had to stay tuned to the whole game to really get any, to really know who it was. It was a nail biter. They must have taken some notes out of some of the pro games over the weekend as well. There was, I guess, 3 out of the 4 games over the weekend in the pros were really good games as well. Good stuff. You got to enjoy the current time. Tonight we're going to talk, might not be quite as enjoyable. We do have President Obama's final State of the Union. I'm not sure whether we're going to hear that applause for his State of the Union or the fact that it's the last time we have to listen to him deliver one. But here's just a few quick facts about the State of the Union, the longest State of the Union. was delivered by President Bill Clinton, 1 hour, 28 minutes with 128 interruptions. The longest in words was Jimmy Carter, 33,667 words. George Washington, man, a few words, 1,089 in his State of the Union. President Reagan in 1982 was the first president to invite a personal guest. And here's the one that probably has President Obama worried the most. During President Clinton's administration, the wrong speech was loaded into the teleprompter. Could you imagine delivering a State of the Union in front of all of Congress, a joint session of Congress, millions of people across the world, and the wrong speech being in the teleprompter? I'm not sure President Obama could handle that. President Clinton did just fine. He just ad-libbed and used his written copy. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we will be talking about, is it a good time to rent or buy a house? 10 things you need to know about reverse mortgages, the home equity conversion program. Creative ways to save for a down payment to buy that house. Got a lot to talk about and more. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number. It's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
It's not every day your home gets flooded, but when it happens, you've got the good people at Apris on your side. With over 25 years of construction and insurance experience, they can turn any disaster around, making your home good as new. For 24/7 support, call 844-GO-APRIS or find us on the web at www.apris.me. Day, night, rain, or shine, when it happens to you, you know what to do. Go Apris. Remember, call 844-GO-APRIS. That's 844-462-7747.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. When you want the true value, the equity in your home, just text PAIR, P-E-A-R, to 79564, PAIR to P-E-A-R to 79564. The professionals will get that information directly to you. You have to have a phone call. Got to talk to them. It's not something that's just online, but it's not intrusive. They only need to spend about 10 minutes of your time and then do a little bit of their homework and get the information for you. So people often ask whether or not now is a good time to buy a home. No one ever asks when a good time to rent is. However, we want to make certain that everyone understands that today is not a good time to rent. The Census Bureau recently released, easy for me to say, their third quarter median rent numbers. And I'll give you a little bit of the idea here. If you look at the median numbers, and I'll post this chart on Ron Siegel Radio right there on Facebook. The chart of rents since 1988 almost looks like Mount Everest. I mean, it's just going straight up with no indication that it's going to slow down at all. Recent Wall Street Journal article reports that rents rose faster last year than at any time since 2007. A boon for landlords that once has stoked concerns about housing affordability for renters. Unquote. Article also cited results from a recent Reese Inc. report that revealed average effective rents rose 4.6% in 2015, the biggest gain since before the recession. Over the past 15 years, rents have risen at a rate of 2.7% annually. Now, you want to know where rents are headed? Again, I'm not the expert, but I do know that Jonathan Smoke, chief economist at Realtor.com, recently warned, and I'll quote him, low rental vacancies and a lack of new rental construction are pushing up rents, and we expect that they'll outpace home price appreciation in the year ahead, unquote. Bottom line, according to the Wall Street Journal article, in general, the higher rents go, the more difficult it will be for young people to save for down payments, making them likely to rent even longer, unquote. One way to protect yourself from rising rents is to lock in your housing expense by buying a home. If you're ready, willing, and able to buy, just give me a call. I'll put you in touch with a real estate professional. And I told you all the time, yes, I do have a real estate license. No, I do not help people with buying and selling real estate. I leave that to the area trusted real estate professionals with Ron Siegel Radio. They do that. They help. They're the ones that are out on the streets in your neighborhood. I'm doing a radio broadcast every morning. Just text PEAR to 79564. If you're thinking about buying, we do have a copy. It's a free magazine we come out with every quarter, and it's called Things to Consider When Buying a Home. Things to Consider When Buying a Home. All you need to do is text HBG, Home Buyer's Guide, to 79564. We'll get out a copy of that to you. All you need to do is, again, text HBG 79564. We'll get that copy out to you, and that way you can take a look and see, does it make sense for you to buy a home? What do you need to know if you're considering buying a home? There's a lot to do there. There's some ways, and we're going to talk about it in the later segment, on some creative ways to save for a down payment. We're going to talk about that today as well. But what you really need to know, or some of the things that you need to know, is there is an expense involved in waiting to buy a home. I get folks talk to me all the time on both sides of the fence. Ron, should I buy a home now? Or Ron, should I sell my house now? Should I wait till spring? When's the right time to buy? Well, the answer is always going to be the same. What makes sense for your family? What makes sense for your household? What are you looking to accomplish? Now, if you're looking to accomplish financial security, I'm going to suggest to you paying somebody else's mortgage is not the answer. We shared with you that John Reeves and I talked about this last month, or maybe the month before now, about the idea of buying a house, scrimp, save, do whatever you need to get in. There's programs anywhere from 0% down to 3% down, 3.5% down, all these different numbers to get into a house. Buy the biggest house you possibly can. And then think about this concept, because this is something that's relatively new. When I bought my first house, Al Gore had not invented the internet at that time. But think about this. Nowadays, the internet is around, thanks to Al Gore. I know he told us that he invented it. I'm not sure that he really did, but he told us that. But think about this. Airbnb was not around. VRBO was not around. There are a lot of folks and a lot of our military men and women who are taking advantage of Airbnb right now. They've got an extra room available in their house, and instead of leaving that room available, they're renting it out on Airbnb. Now, I know you might be saying to me that, Ron, I don't want some stranger coming in and out of my house. Well, it depends to me. It really depends on how many strangers or how many Ben Franklins that stranger's willing to bring. So if they're willing to bring enough Ben Franklins, I'm willing to let them in the house. Think about that. Yeah, Ben Franklins. It's for those of you that are of the newest generation and use the ATM card. Ben Franklin is the picture on the $100 bill. And if they'll bring enough of those Ben Franklins to me, I'm willing to let them in. Now, let's think about that, because one of the reasons that I bring that up right now is a new report came out, and we used a lot of sources for this report. Goldprice.org, CNBC, and CoreLogic. It's not Ron Siegel radio reports. You see, our team is really good at finding data, and we're even better at borrowing data from experts like Steve Harney, our friends over at Keeping Current Matters, the crew there. The 2015 return on investment, if you were put your money into silver or gold, you didn't even get a return of your investment, no less a return on investment, because you lost 11.5% on silver and 10.4% on gold. If you put money into the Dow Jones, you did not get a return on investment. You did not even get a return of investment. You lost 2.2%. S&P 500, you lost 0.7%. The NASDAQ, you made 5.7%. But in real estate, again, this is according to CoreLogic, you made 6.8%. The best of all of the asset classes we've identified here. And that doesn't even take into account if you put 10% down, you made 68% on your money because you didn't put all the money. If you buy gold, I believe it is, and you buy the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the stocks that compose that, or an ETF, or if you buy the ETF on the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, you're putting $1 in for $1 invested. When you're buying real estate, you're putting $1 in for $5 invested. So you take that 6.8%, that's assuming a 20% down payment. If you're doing a 10% down payment, it's $1 per 10 is what you have to put in. But if you did that 10% down, you're looking at 68% return on your capital. Will that happen again this year? I have no idea. Again, CoreLogic's telling us 5.2% nationally, 10.8% in California. Will it happen? We don't want to promise anything. It doesn't help anybody, and I don't want to cause any issues there, and certainly don't want to get our compliance people mad at me. Don't want the FTC to get mad at me, or the SEC, even though I don't have license for either of those. So we can't project the future. But I can tell you, those are the numbers from 2015. If they happened then, could they happen again? Yes. Take a look. I don't even want to think about what the Dow Jones Industrial Average has done so far this month. I'm not sure you want to know that either. But just for fun, We'll look at it. I think there's probably about 5 days down. The last 5 days, it's down 744 points. 5 days, down 4.34%. Not the way we want to start the year. And we've got other statistics to go there. We'll talk about them. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, financial markets. Call me if you want to get a house. I'll put you in touch with the right people. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, it's really simple. Go to youtube.com/Ron Siegel 1 and join the 150,000 people that have watched replays of our broadcasts over the last 4 weeks. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL lendingteam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
37% of American homeowners believe they have over 20% equity in their homes. Fannie Mae tells us 69% of American homeowners have over 20% equity in their homes. Fully 1 in 3 American homeowners are not informed about the amount of equity they have in their homes. Are you one of them? How might this be holding you back from achieving your goals? Text RSR CMA to 79564 to get a property valuation from one of the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Again, to know how much your home is really worth, simply text RSR CMA to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Word on Wealth segment today is being brought to you by the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Have you built that household board of directors yet? I know a lot of you have. I'm not sure if all of you have. If you haven't, text ATP to 79564, ATP to 79564. Take that 2-minute survey that'll be right there, and we'll put together that board of directors for you. All it is introductions, not a bunch of them. Just one person of each category that you would like to meet in your neighborhood. You're not going to get a million phone calls. That's not what it's all about. It's about introducing you to the people that you need to know, maybe to help you save some tax money, to develop the financial plan to meet your goals, objectives. Maybe it's college education. Maybe it is getting a new house. Maybe it's, well, we can't help you with the wife part or the husband part. Those things really don't work through the ATP program. But maybe some ideas on how to increase your deductibles without it costing you any more money out of your pocket and getting some insurance savings. That might be a worthwhile objective for you. Think about that concept. All of these things available. Just text ATP to 79564, and we will get that put together for you. What are some of the ways we were talking before the break about renting? Is now the time to rent? And I shared with you it probably is not the best time in the world to rent, with a shortage in the supply side of housing and of rental properties. When there's a shortage in that supply side, what are you going to do? Well, rents are going to go up when there's a shortage. That's just supply and demand. So let's talk about some ways to maybe save a little bit of money to buy that new house. And there's several different objectives. I'm going to share with you a lot of our millennials, our young people, maybe people in general, maybe it's not just the millennials, think that you need to have the requirements for buying a home are different than what they legitimately are. Hear a lot of folks saying, well, I've got to have 20% down payment. Well, if you are a regular listener to Ron Siegel Radio, then you are going to you're going to already tell me that
You know better than that.
yeah, you know better than that. You don't need 20% down to buy a home. What you really need to know is that there are programs that will allow you to buy a new home. Zero down, Veterans USDA program, both allow for a zero down payment. If you've got good credit scores, well, you're looking at 3% down. If you don't have good credit scores, you might be able to go with 3.5% down. What is a good credit score? Think about this one. People believe, because of some of these dumb commercials that are on TV, that you need at least a 740 FICO score to buy a new home. Some don't even have a clue. That accounts with those that don't know and those that believe it's a 740 FICO score. That's 59% of the population. Well, the truth of it is, according to Ellie Mae, they are one of the computer companies that does a lot of compliance for lenders. When you go for a loan, most lenders will plug all the information that they take from you into a software program that's made or run by Ellie Mae. The average FICO scores for all loans, 721. Conventional loans at 754. FHA loans, 687. VA loans, 706. And I've told you before that our team has some programs available that'll go down as low as 500 FICO to buy a new house. The other issue is, throughout the entire year of 2015, the FICO score requirements were dropping. Yeah, January, February, March, they were 731, 732, all the way down to November, which is the last number that it's available, 721 was the average FICO score. Just a bit of information there for you. Down payments. Again, here's what people think. I hope that you're better than this. 40% have no idea what is needed for a down payment. 15% believe that you need 20% down payment. So there's 55% that either don't know or believe you need 20%. 21% think you need 10%. So here's what the averages are. Again, Ellie Mae provides this data for us. 21% down was for all loans, 31% on conventional. but FHA was an average of 4%. What's the difference between those two? Well, the difference really is that conventional loan where people are putting down a larger amount, that's generally going to be a repeat buyer who's got equity in their property. They're moving from one property to the next. So did they save 31% for the down payment? No. They're transferring it from one place to the next place, so that's why they've got 31%. A typical down payment, repeat buyers is 14%, first-time buyers 6%. FHA 4%, VA 2%. Now, why do you say 2% for VA? I want you to understand that, especially because we do have so many people in the military arena that are listening to our broadcasts. If you go over the county lending limits, you can still get a VA loan. You just have to put some money down. If you are within the county lending limit, the VA loan requires 0 down payment. So I think that's a great thing because our military men and women have earned that right. It's not like they're given something. They've earned that to get that down payment to be a 0. And I love that idea of a 0 for our military men and women. Just roll with it. Just get out there and talk to a professional. Now, one of the things, I just posted this morning, all professionals are not created equal. And I'm sure that you're going to understand what I'm going to say here. And yes, I do have a vested interest in what I'm going to share with you right now. But I posted the data on Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. And I want to share this with you so you have the full data, the full knowledge of what we're talking about here as well. October 3rd last year, the laws changed within lending. October 3rd of last year, the laws changed. And as of October 3rd, there's a lot of additional requirements and triggers to slow down the lending so that you can't get a loan as quickly as you might have been able to do it before. Now, here's the issue that you want to understand there. We saw that the existing home sales, as reported by the National Association of Realtors, dropped 10.5% in the month of November, down 10.5%. Well, that was the first full month that this law was in effect. It started October 3rd, so it was the first full month the law was in effect. The results of the law, the unintended consequences, the average days to close a loan jumped up from 46 days to 49 days. And you might say, Ron, big deal, 46 days to 49 days. Well, think about this. There's a 3-day difference. Average work month has about 20 days in it. November has a little bit less just because so many people are not working because of the Thanksgiving holiday, Veterans Day. Okay? So you're taking a 20-day work month and a 3-day add-on is about 15% longer time to get the loans done. So I wanted to say, okay, well, how do we compare? VIP Mortgage averages 20 and a half days for the entire year of 2015 to close a loan, 20.5 days. That includes the fourth quarter, which is when the new law took effect. Our team here in Southern California, 17 days. So not everybody is created equally. Ask our friends at the big banks if they can close your loan in 17 days if they need to. No less is it their average. Want to buy a house? Text HBG to 79564. And let's think about some alternative ways to save for that down payment. We talked the other day about how long it takes to save for a down payment. If I have some time, I might get into those numbers. I've got the statistics in front of me. But let's think about that concept as alternative ways to save for a down payment. Paying $20 a month for a health club membership. Maybe you can put that into a separate housing fund. Go run on the beach, run in the mountains, run on your streets. Alternatives. Go to the Y. Take a look at your cell phone bill, your cable TV, your internet bill. I just saved, well, actually my son just did ours. He saved us about $110 a month by talking to our internet provider and changing around what we do. Don't tell my kids I said this, but maybe move in with your parents and save that rent money. Get a roommate. We talked about that earlier, the Airbnb concept. Instead of going out for lunch, take your lunch to work. I go to a great little restaurant right by our office, Board and Brew, friends of the show. Costs about $8 or $9 a day for lunch. That's about $2,500 a year. Think about that as a concept of saving some money. Heck, how much is your Starbucks habit? Get it. Do ride sharing, part-time job, cancel vacations, gift account, tap your 401k or Roth IRA. All of these are different alternatives. I'm not the tax guy. Consult them if you're dealing with your retirement accounts. There's a lot of ways. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Want to buy a house? Call me, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home, but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Start the new year off on the right track with your finances. Join SDCCU at your local library for free financial wellness Wednesdays. For details and locations, visit SDCCU.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by the VIP Hero Program. VIPHeroProgram.com is the site to see if you qualify. It's for our veterans, active, retired, reserves. It's also for first responders, police, fire, nurses, teachers. A lot of different groups will qualify for that rebate from our partners of Ron Siegel Radio. They've all signed up. The real estate professionals, they're going to give you $5,000 to $10,000 back depending upon what you're looking to do. Lenders have some discounts. The title company, escrow companies, they've got special published rates to help out there as well. We've been chatting this morning about ways of saving extra money for a down payment. And in the Mortgage Minute, we're going to chat a little bit further about that. I also want to give you some things to know about home equity conversion mortgages. It's a specialized mortgage geared for seniors. Home equity conversion mortgage, that's what it is. So let's first talk about, though, I wanted to share with you, before the break, we were talking about saving for a down payment. And think about this. Based on numbers here in, well, we'll talk about national and the state of confusion as well. If you're looking to save 3% for a down payment, again, if you've got good credit, that will work. 3% down, 6.57 years to save that money. It's going to be for every state has its own number, but California is a little bit higher because we've got higher property values here. Again, 6.57 years to save to get that down payment. 10%, and that's a 3%. A 10% down, it's going to take almost 22 years based on savings rates. Nationally, it takes about 8 years. But my thinking is, why do you need to wait till you get 10%? You don't need to wait for that. 3%, 3.5%, you're good to go. The 3.5% is an FHA loan. And one of the things with that, some folks tell me, Ron, I don't like the FHA loan. It's got mortgage insurance. Now, let me ask you this. Anybody that talks about not wanting it because of mortgage insurance is basically been brainwashed without good data. And why do I say brainwashed without good data? Well, it's very, very simple. You're going to pay somebody else's mortgage because you don't want to pay mortgage insurance. Does that make any sense? You're going to trade national projections. And again, these are just projections. We cannot tell you what's going to happen in the future. National projections are an appreciation nationally of a little over 5%, in California over 10% for the coming year. But you're saying, Ron, I don't want to get 10% projected appreciation because it might cost me 0.5%, maybe give or take a little bit. It might cost me 0.5% in mortgage insurance. Does that make any sense to you? Now, why are these guys screaming it on radio that you don't want mortgage insurance? Well, the idea here is because they're one and done guys. They're looking to get a refinance. They're looking to help you one time. They're not in it for the long haul. I'm sharing with you, it's all about the long haul. You get into the game, you buy that piece of property, you use the mortgage insurance where it's beneficial, you take the appreciation, refinance the property, get an interest rate at market value at that time. Right now, who knows what the market value is going to be, but even if it's a little bit higher, but the total is less combined, you're still better off. Take your interest rate plus your mortgage insurance, whatever that combined number is, that's what we're looking to say, okay, we want to diminish that and get it done for you. Think about these things. It's not about one and done. It's about getting you into the right program at the right time to get in the game. That's what it's really all about. That is just sharing a little bit with you. The Mortgage Minute brought to you by the VIP Hero Program. See if you qualify, VIPHero.com. But I also wanted to get into this home equity conversion mortgage. It's Fred Thompson, before he passed, used to talk about this all the time. He didn't talk about the formal name. They just called it the reverse mortgage. I'm going to share with you some of the things that you need to know about the home equity conversion mortgage. Number one, it's an FHA product. So the Federal Housing Administration is looking it over to make sure that there are guidelines followed that make sense. It's geared for seniors age 62 and over. 62 and over. Now, why do I say that to you? Is because if you're under 62, it doesn't work. You don't make a mortgage payment on the home equity conversion mortgage. The interest expense is added on to the principal balance of the loan. And if you noticed, I said the principal balance of the loan. This is a loan just like every other loan. It must be paid back when the senior departs the property. Husband and wife, it's paid back when the last senior departs the property. It is geared as a primary residence only, so you can't get a home equity conversion mortgage and then rent out the property. You're not making a mortgage payment. Yes, you can buy a home with the home equity conversion mortgage. We'll call it Heckling. So you can buy a home with this product. So when you buy the home, you put a down payment down. It's usually going to be 30, 40, 50, 60% down payment. It's going to vary depending upon your age and the property value and the type of program that you do. And you will never have a payment for the entire time you live in the property. No payments ever. So it just adds on. It just keeps adding the interest to it. I'm going to share with you, it is the best kind of a product for you and for your family. I get people asking, do I still own my house? Yes. It's just a loan like any other loan. You want to sell your house? Fine, sell it. Pay off the loan. You want to sell it and buy another property? Fine, do it. Pay off the loan. You want to refinance? You got to wait 18 months to refinance. But if you wanted to pay it off sooner than 18 months, you can do that too. Can you make a payment? If you want to, yes. If you don't want to, no. But you still own the home. You have control of the home. You will always have control of the home as long as you do the same things that you must do with any loan. You need to pay your property taxes. You need to maintain the property. You need to pay the insurance. If you've got a homeowners association, you have to pay that too, just like any loan. Why do people take out the Heckling loan or the reverse mortgage? It's a cash flow issue. They don't want to be forced to make a payment. They've got other things they want to do with their money, but they still want to keep the property. They don't want to give up the property. So they're keeping their home. They're making use of the money. They get the cash flow. They can do whatever they want with that. Maybe they want to help a grandchild go to college. Maybe they want to help with a wedding. Maybe they want to help a grandchild buy a house. Maybe they're thinking that the money is going to go to their grandkids anyway when they pass, and they'd rather see them enjoy the money while they're still living. That's some of the reasons. It's a financial planning tool. It is a very, very popular program. It's gained popularity. It's down a little bit in the last few years, but it reached a peak in 2009. Huge amount of people looking for this product because of cash flow. That's why it was so popular then. There have been some changes to the product. You need to think about the interest and the fees. You need to be consulting with somebody great. If you give me a holler at 800-306-1990 or an email, ron@ronsiegelradio.com, I'll put you in touch with somebody that really knows the product inside and out. They'll sit down with you to help you explain it, because even though it is regulated, there are some differences that you can take advantage of by knowing the program extensively, by knowing the difference between having a loan of 59% versus 60%. There are differences. There are differences in fees. Maybe you don't even have to pay any fees. There are differences. Do your research. That's what I do. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. I've done the research, and I can help you talk to a professional about the program, about the product, giving you options. Make sure your family is involved in the conversation with the professional. Your neighbor does not know the product. I promise you, I get calls all the time about this. Ron, they're going to take my house. Why do I want to do this? That tells me they're talking about a product that was available in 1970, not today. And be careful of scams. Watch out for them. There are scams out there. A lot of people always looking at seniors. I hate that. That's why I want you to call me so I can put you in touch with the right people and set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Otis RPA 1700 AM Tecate, Baja California.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700. Genuine.